YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with our updated NFL power rankings heading into Week 7. We update these every Tuesday morning based on the season, not end-of-the-year predictions. If teams are winning, if they're looking good on the field, they will go up. If teams are struggling, they'll go down. Pretty simple here. We have weekly picks, score predictions, a lot more as well. So join us, like, subscribe, to notifications on. Any link you're looking for, Twitter, Picks League, GLD shop with the NFL pendants and chains there. Links pinned in the comments for all those things. So go ahead and check it out. But yeah, to the power rankings. Heading into Week 7, the Panthers remain at 32. Shouldn't really be much of a surprise. Just trade Robbie Anderson after his sideline shenanigans there. So that's one way to get traded. 31, the Bears are going to be down 3 spots. They were able to sneak away with a couple wins earlier in the year. And now they could have snuck that one out against the Commanders, but the offense is just struggling so much. And it just doesn't really feel like they put themselves in position to be solid this year. It felt like maybe earlier in the year they could do a little damage, but yeah, tough one on Thursday night against the Commanders. They're going to be down 3 spots after that one. Texans down 1 spot. They had a bye. They end up moving down because teams like the Commanders and the Steelers won, so that's why the Texans are 30th, but their last game was a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 29, the Lions are down 2 spots. Also did not play, but also moved down because other teams won there, but the Lions still, with that one win, looking to get another one here. They play the Cowboys this week. 28, the Commanders go up 3 spots. An ugly win against the Bears, but when you're down here towards the bottom, one win could actually do you some damage there, move up 3 spots. Yeah, I mean, they played pretty good defense. They clutched up when they needed to. Now Wentz is going to miss some time because he was injured. He was actually playing injured. So Heineke comes in. I've seen a take from somebody within the Commanders organization said they can now open the playbook more with Heineke, which that's like a good thing, but it's like, why the hell weren't you using him the whole time? Then I guess because you traded for Wentz. But we'll see how he does in the system that he's familiar with there with the Commanders. See how the Commanders do with Heineke, I guess. Steelers up 3 spots as well. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was the upset of the week, maybe the season. Especially here and going into Week 6, pulling off that kind of upset, pretty impressive. And the amount of players they were missing, having to throw Trubisky in there who clutched up. That was a good win for the Steelers. They'll be up 3 spots. Let's see if they can kind of get something going now. We'll see who plays quarterback Sunday night against the Dolphins. Broncos, another disappointing loss, another very winnable game. They're going to stay put at 26, though. There was no reason for me to move them down below some of these other teams based on the play this year of those teams and the Broncos. Broncos playing some really good defense. The offense has been a big disappointment, though, but that seems to be the common theme for a lot of these teams down here. Raiders had a bye. They're going to stay put. Only 1 win. Put some good play out there against the Chiefs, even though they just lost that game. But it's the Chiefs, and they showed some good things that they might be able to turn it around here. We'll see. They actually got to go put it in action there. We'll see what happens here. But Browns are down. Another loss, down 1 spot, 24. Luckily there's a lot of bad teams below them or teams struggling, so they didn't have to move down too much. But disappointing outing against the Patriots. Expect that game to be a lot closer. And the Patriots gave them the business, really, is what they did. So down 1 spot, 24. Cardinals been extremely disappointing. They're down 7 spots. They go against Seattle Seahawks, which is a very winnable game. You think the Cardinals, who play great defense, should be able to play better offense than they have been playing, going against the second to last scoring defense, and they just could not do that. So they're down 7 spots to 23. We'll see how they are with Hopkins back. I mean, if there's all of a sudden good offensively with Hopkins back, he's gonna look like the greatest player in the NFL. It looks like he carries them quite a bit. I mean, it's doable with the next couple defenses they're playing. So we'll see. I do like the way their defense has been playing. But Hollywood Brown out for about 6 weeks. Robbie Anderson in. Hopkins back. We'll see what happens. Down 7 spots. Very disappointing to number 23. Jags on a little bit of a losing streak. Very winnable game against the Colts. They played a pretty solid game, at least at offense, of course. Able to move the ball, especially on the ground. Lawrence was pretty efficient. And the offense put them in a position to win that game. They just could not pull it off there. So that's a tough one. But, it just feels, in a way, it kind of feels like the same old Jags. They can't figure it out as the season starts to take shape and they can't close out games. But they do look a little better at the same time than the old Jags. They're putting up better fights. they're in these games like to win them. They just got to figure out how to close them out. They'll play the Giants, the hot Giants this week. Saints lost, disappointing loss to the Bengals. Allowed a comeback. Felt like they had control of that game for a bit. If they would have got one extra touchdown instead of field goal, or maybe two, that it would have been probably an easy win for the Saints. But so a disappointing loss. It's been a disappointing season, especially with the injuries. Back-to-back years. Didn't really feel the need to move them down, really, though. But it's a game they could or maybe should have won. Seahawks can go up 4 spots. Impressive win against the Cardinals. They actually had to play some defense. They did that. And the offense did enough. They scored 19 points, but they did enough. They extended some drives, some big plays here and there. So Seahawks up 4 spots, number 20. Let's see if they can kind of stay consistent now. A little disappointing last week against the Saints, even though they put up a lot of points. Falcons go up 3 spots. Impressive win against the 49ers. 49ers were depleted, but the Falcons, that is, they had a pretty good game. Mariota had a really good game. It's going to be a problem for the 49ers. They played some pretty solid defense there. So let's see if they can stay consistent now. We don't want them to slip up. So another one of those teams like the Seahawks where they look pretty good some weeks. They look really good some weeks, and they look like a sneaky team, like way better than expected. But can they put something consistent together to soar up these rankings here? Definitely possible. Falcons play the Bengals this week. 18, the Packers. Weird seeing the Packers down here at 18, down 5 spots. Another loss to the Giants and lost to the Jets. The second half against the Giants, it just looked like the Giants were the completely better team. The whole game pretty much against the Jets, maybe for 3 quarters against the Jets. The Jets just look like the completely better team, both sides of the ball. So that is an issue. It's kind of one thing if maybe just let it slip away, something fluky happened. I know there was a blocked punt, but that is kind of Packers things there, so I don't really call that fluky, but so that's pretty much an issue for the Packers there. I'm really on both sides of the ball. I mean, defense needs a little more help from the offense, but the defense is not living up to the hype at the same time. So the Packers is, again, weird to see them down here, but this is where they belong right now based on the way they're playing and because they're losing. There's a 2-game losing streak, so imagine if they barely didn't escape that Patriots game, a few weeks ago as well. That'd be very scary here for the Packers. But it's still like to think, that they figure it out because it's Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers. I'd say that'd be my prediction, but that's an assumption here. We're not making assumptions with these rankings. They aren't playing good football right now. Same goes to the Buccaneers. They're down 8 spots. At least they got that win again. They held on and got that win against the Falcons last week, so they're still kind of holding on to that. But still got to go down quite a bit. 8 spots for losing to the Steelers and just having a horrendous day on offense, and they just cannot run the ball either, and they cannot block for Brady. They end up in predictable situations. And the defense maybe doesn't look even the defense did their part, so don't get me wrong here, but they don't look as strong as they did early season. Before that Chiefs game, maybe the Buccaneers maybe had a top 3 defense just based on what I was seeing on the field. So just extremely disappointing. You see Brady hollering at the offensive lineman, which isn't a big deal to me, but it kind of shows you that's a little bit of a mess right now. Not everyone on the same page. On to the top 16, the Dolphins go down 4 spots. They're on a bit of a losing streak. They are very beat up. They did put up a good fight with the Vikings. I love the way the defense played, even though they gave up 24. Offense kind of fought back, just some sloppy mistakes in there, but overall, as a whole this season, the Dolphins still played some pretty solid football here and there. And the tricky part with them is their best football was when they were healthy, and it was the first 3 games of the year. What do the first 3 games of the year tell us in every single year in the NFL? Really nothing. So that's the tricky part, because if they get healthy, I think some people are expecting them to be that team that they're in the first 3 weeks. It's really a mystery right now, but they're still kind of putting up a fight. They got beat pretty bad by the Jets, but if you watched the 2 weeks ago, but you've watched that game, they put up a good fight. I think they're presenting some, teams like the Bucs and the Packers and the Dolphins, even while beat up, might be presenting a little bit better things on the field. But they're it is what it is. They're losing right now, so they're still going to be down a little bit of spots here to number 16. But a winnable game against the Vikings there. I love the way the defense played. Colts going to go up 5 spots to 15. Good comeback, come from behind win against the Jaguars. The offense actually produced, was pretty surprising. Matt Ryan had to throw 58 times. He didn't get sacked. The protection wasn't great, a little bit better than what it has been, but Matt Ryan was getting the ball out. Receivers were getting a little more open than they were used to seeing, so that's fantastic there. They're figuring out ways. That's what I like to see. They're figuring out ways to adjust, so maybe credit to Frank Reich there. So they're up 5 spots to 15. It's just kind of weird, though, because like 1 week it's like this defense might be, I don't want to say elite, but great. 1 week it's like, you're looking at the Titans game, the Jags, like every other, it might not be that great. So the offense had to go win. That's the good thing. The offense found a way to win. So impressive. They're up 5 spots to 15. They play the Titans this week, already lost to them, but they're on that revenge tour. They got the Jags, already lost to them. So that's a huge game for the AFC South there, Titans, Colts this week. Rams going to stay put. Good to get a win. Wasn't the prettiest thing, won by a couple scores, but they were down for a bit. Still have allowing pressure on Stafford. Stafford still, turned the ball over a little bit there, pick 6, but wish they would try to, again, game plan or focus on getting the run game going a little bit more to take a little bit of pressure off the pass protection and off Matt Stafford there. But good to see Allen Robinson get going. Robinson scored, Skoranek scored, so good to see. Again, another thing that's good to see other receivers not named Cooper Kupp to get involved there. But they're 14, didn't really see a reason to move them up. There was nothing there that, like, yes, I need to move them up. The Bengals going to go up 2 spots. A little sloppy early in this game. There was a fumble on a punt that kind of set them back. The defense wasn't playing super great. I guess they were solid in the red zone, but they really figured something out, and they really, they had some explosive plays. They were able to attack the sideline, get the ball to Chase. Burrow was throwing the ball in traffic here and there. They're making some good plays, good comeback win, and it's good to see them kind of getting points on the board. They score 30 in that game. So overall, not, a little sloppy, and it was a game they could have lost, but they found a way, and they did some good things on offense there, which is good to see. So they're up 2 spots to 13. Ravens down 4 spots. They've been very disappointing. We know that this team is very talented. They could be a lot better. I mean, they could be undefeated right now, but they have 3 losses, but that is what it is. They consistently cannot close out games. They consistently don't look super good at the end of games. So that's kind of what it is right now. That's kind of their identity, kind of their label. They have to actually go out and close out games and win for them to remove that label and then move up into power rankings. So, the defense played well. They held the Giants to very little of anything. I mean, they couldn't even run the ball super well in that game with the offense. Lamar Jackson kind of choked a little bit in the end there, a little bit maybe generous. So they're down 4 spots, number 12. Let's see if they can get something consistent together. The Niners go down 6 spots to 11. Very, very beat up, so it's a legitimate excuse, but we don't, make an exception for, any team here. It just kind of is what it is. You win, you go up, you lose, you go down. You look good on the field. They didn't really look good in this game. And, they were very injured, so if they were full strength, you definitely could say the 49ers could have beat the Falcons. But what the Falcons were doing, like the problems they were presenting, it was like, I don't know if there was really an answer for the 49ers. Of course, better with healthier players or, their starters in there. But the Falcons presented some problems on both sides of the ball that look more like Falcons positives than the Niners missing guys. It looked more so the Falcons doing things. So to me, but obviously the 49ers better if healthy for sure. And I really think they could be the top team in the NFC. I'm not saying they would be right now, like record wise or anything, but when it's all said and done, maybe in the playoffs they could be the best NFC team if another big word there, if they're healthy. So we'll see what happens to the 49ers. At the end of the day, they lost. It was a disappointing one there, down 6 spots. It was still kind of a winnable game in a way, down 14-0, and then tie it up, and then they kind of let it slip away again. Titans didn't play, but they're up 1 spot. They got some help. The Niners and the Ravens were deserving of moving down past below them for sure. And the Titans were, last time we saw them, they were on a little bit of a streak. They're getting some things rolling, and even though they're beat up, that's why you can't make an exception for some teams, because there's some teams that are beat up and they're playing well. There's teams that are losing still when they're beat up. So, but the Titans kind of starting to look a little bit more like the old Titans, what we were used to. Not the Titans in the beginning of this year, but maybe close to it. Not fully there, but bye week was this past week, and now they play the Colts in a big time battle to take the lead in that division, to hold that lead. So 10 versus 15 there. Cannot wait for that game. They just played a few weeks ago. It's weird how that's going on there, but. The Patriots are up 8 spots to number 9. They are 3-3. That's the weird thing. There's not too many great teams, like record-wise or even like consistency-wise. So a 3-3 team up at number 9. But bottom line is the Patriots are playing really good football right now. Just really good football, especially on defense. Defense looks like one of the best ones in football right now for sure. The game plan looks great. The execution looks great. Even the offense is producing. They're putting together a little bit of a win streak. They almost had that Packers game a few weeks ago. If they would have got that one, man, the difference it would be. I mean, they would be higher than 9. 9's high, and they'd be higher than 9 for sure. So they're up 8 spots to number 9, and the Jets are, it's weird seeing the Jets there. They are number 8 on the power rankings, up 10 spots. That was a big win against the Packers. I mean, because it's the Packers, because you won big, 27-10, but because before that, it was like, I think everyone's feelings on the Jets were like, are they for real? Okay, they're starting to look pretty decent, but show me something. Show me put something solid in there for me. They had a couple come from behind last second wins. Give me something solid, and they go play supposed to be a pretty solid team, the Packers, and they give us something solid. They win 27-10. They play well. They play great on all phases. They outplay the Packers on all phases, and they hop to 4-2. So that's pretty solid evidence, things on the resume there. So they are well deserving of moving up the rare 10 spots in week 7. That's usually early season things. It still feels really early in the season based on why teams are playing, but it's good to see the Jets up here. I mean, they're playing good football on both sides. They got talent on both sides of the ball, and they're putting it together pretty quickly. Love the way that offense is designed and called there, very much so. So the Jets are 8. The Chargers are up 3 spots to 7. Not the prettiest win last night against the Broncos. Honestly, they were fortunate to they were fortunate to not tie, maybe, because if I say that they were fortunate to win, it almost sounds like they should have lost. Not really the case. It really felt like that was about to be a tie game. It was deserving of being a tie based on how the two teams were playing. But they clutched up, made a play on that punt team, and some thought that could have been interference. But then, just that's kind of the way the Broncos lost there. But and the Chargers, Hopkins making those kicks while injured, pretty impressive. So at the end of the day, they win. They find a way to win. They're a pretty good football team, even while beat up. So they're going to go up 3 spots. The defense clutched up when they needed to as well. They're going to go up 3 spots to number 7. Number 6, the Giants. The Jets and Giants are in the top 8. The Giants were here last week. They moved up the spot. A good win against the Ravens. Offense, finally was really slowed down. They didn't really do anything. Anything. The offense didn't do much to win the game. They went and execute at the end. The defense really did the part there, and great coaching as well. The defense had a very good clutch outing against the Baltimore Ravens. Offense is going to have to play better than that if they want to keep winning those big games, though. But they just know how to find a way. They are 5-1. They are up 1 spot to number 6. I mean, who would have thought the Jets and the Giants would be up here? The Giants at number 6. The Cowboys are going to go out 1 spot, number 5. I didn't really feel the need to move them down a whole bunch because it's just this season. You look at this season, and there's not too many consistently good teams, like whether they're winning or losing, consistently good, just what they're presenting on the field. The Cowboys have 2 losses, but they've been pretty consistent. They've been pretty good. They probably have the top defense in football. The offense can produce even with the backup quarterback. Now Dak's going to come back. So the Cowboys, there hasn't been too many teams that show me, again, consistent good football. Even though the Cowboys are fresh off a loss, they show me some consistent good football. So this team has most definitely been a top 5 team in the NFL through 6 weeks leading into week 7 here. So I did not feel the need to move them down any more than that. I was very close to keeping them put, but we moved the Vikings up. They're coming from 6. They are 5-1. They get the win against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins were pretty beat up. But the Vikings got some clutch plays on defense, which is kind of new because the defense has not been playing well, even though they gave up quite a bit of yards. But offense was a little slow in this game, but they were able to produce. I keep saying it the last couple weeks. My favorite thing about the Vikings and the best thing they have going for them is when they absolutely have to go score, like it's on the line, we got to go score here, they go and score. And there's really, I mean, how many teams do that? It might be 4, 3, it might, something like that. So I do like that for the Vikings. Is it going to keep up, though? It's something that you kind of question going forward, because I don't really like the defense, even though they made some plays in this game. In the offense, you wish they would have got going, through the whole game there. They kind of banned the run a little early, but they keep on winning, and they know how to clutch up. So I do it consistently too. So it's something consistent there. So I got them at number 4. Number 3, the Chiefs are down 1 spot. Didn't really see the need to move them down any more than that. Just feel like they've been playing better ball, for example, than the Minnesota Vikings overall, even though the Vikings have 1 less loss. So they played pretty solid ball against the Bills. I like that the Chiefs showed some defense. Like in this game that's supposed to be a shootout between the 2 heavyweight offenses of the AFC, the two heavyweight teams of the AFC, and they present some defense and almost win because of that. It's really a good sign, even though they lost overall. Offense could take care of the ball a little bit better. Perfect world, but maybe saving a little bit of things for the rematch. I think that we're all expecting in the playoffs. But the Chiefs have still played pretty good football there. They're down one spot to number 3. The Bills are going to go up one spot to number 2. They get the best of the Chiefs in that battle. Good game-winning drive. They absolutely need to go score. They can do it. They're one of those teams, and the Chiefs are one of those teams, even though they didn't do it this last game. Just not too many of those teams in the NFL, and those teams in the NFL end up being like the best offenses, really. And we see them all at the top. So the Bills are up one spot, and the Bills feel like number 1 worthy, really, but it's just you can't really take the Eagles off of number 1 because they have some statement wins. They are undefeated, as you can tell based on what's going on throughout this league this season. It is very hard to stay consistent, very hard to stay consistent. I mean, there's inconsistencies all over the league this year, more than ever, and the Eagles continue to win. And then having the wins like the Cowboys in prime time, and they're fortunate they're home in both the Vikings and the Cowboys, but they get the job done and they execute in those games. They look really good while doing it. They look very solid on both sides of the ball. And again, the main thing is they keep continuing to win and stay pretty damn consistent. So the Eagles are number 1. We got a lot of good teams with the bye this week. I'm noticing that. The Eagles have a bye, number 1. Number 2, the Bills have a bye. Number 4, the Vikings have a bye. And then you have the Rams, who are fresh off the win. Number 14 has a bye there. So, some big games coming up this week. I think the Giants and Jags honestly could be good. The Jags are losing, but they're putting up fights. The Jets and the Broncos could be good. Two really, really solid defenses. We'll see if Zach Wilson can handle that Broncos defense. We'll see if the Broncos offense can handle anything, and the Jets playing really good defense. And then the Titans-Colts might be the biggest one, top of my head right now. I think the Bengals-Falcons could be a pretty solid game as well. Dolphins play the Steelers on Sunday night. Who knows what happens there? A couple of concussed quarterbacks. But Saints-Cardinals, two teams disappointing. That have been disappointing, 21-23, playing on Thursday Night Football. Could be an interesting game for sure. That's going to wrap up the Week 7 Power Rankings. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We're always talking with you guys on Twitter. There's a link pinned in the comments for that Twitter. Anything else you're looking for. Full NFL coverage here. Constant NFL content. So you're definitely going to want to like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Be much appreciated. Also much appreciate you for watching this video. That's going to do it. Goodbye.